friends. This will be the first video of the collaboration, my very first collaboration ever, that is hosted by Jovi at Creating with Jovi. The collaboration can be found by searching YouTube for #December Weekly, and you're welcome to join in. Create your own videos every Monday, or as many Mondays as you can in December. Upload a video of you chronicling an event or a memory or something in your Christmas or December journals. And so today, the theme of my journaling today will be, can you guess, other than Christmas? Christmas trees. I have some cookies here that our kids decorated with I've been nibbling on these all afternoon, so I'm gonna put these away. Don't need any more of those. I've eaten way too many today, but our kids have a yearly gingerbread cookie decorating contest with our neighbors, and it gets pretty fierce. So we did that this weekend. That was one of our little Christmas activities for the weekend. And at the beginning of the video, you probably saw some really beautiful white lights. It was a little Christmas market that we went to last night, or I guess that would be Saturday night, and enjoyed time there. It was the perfect temperature, the threat of rain, but it never rained, so it was just perfect. We had a great time. And of course, in the center of that festivity was a giant Christmas tree. So I was like, you know what? I think my first journal entry needs to be about a Christmas tree. So you might have seen me do a flip through of this. This is one of my personal Christmas journals. I have not started journaling any yet because I'm afraid of messing it up. But this will be the inaugural journaling of anything in this journal every year, and it will be for a journal entry on a memory of a Christmas tree, or what Christmas trees memories I have from my childhood Christmases. My journaling is probably going to be a little bit different than some of the other collaborators, just because I tend not to do a lot of journaling of everyday events. I tend to do more journaling of things that are in my past that I want to remember. Just because the older I get, I feel like the more I'm forgetting, and I don't want to forget all of these wonderful memories I have of growing up, of my grandparents, both sides, memories I have with them, other relatives, cousins, old friends. Not all of them are around anymore. I miss so many of them so much, and so I want to be sure I write down all of my memories of them to be able to keep and pass down to my children as well. So let me see if I can find the perfect little layout for a Christmas. This would work if I had a little more space. I guess I could start here and then move forward. Let's keep looking, see what else we have. This is also an option because here's a tree and we have Santa. Although this is more of a gift theme, and that will be another one of my themes. Let's see. One of the things I love most about journaling memories is, at least for me, I don't worry about putting them in chronological order. I tend to, when I just have a memory that I want to chronicle, I'll just look for the perfect page in my regular journal and start writing. And I'll just fill it up haphazardly, not in order. That's just the way I prefer to do things. I've kind of always been that way. When I would get a new notebook or coloring book, I would always pick a picture in the very middle or 2/3 of the way of the book to color first. So this is kind of the same extension of my personality in that regard. That page that we passed looks like it might be the one. So yeah, let's do that. Okay. go back. We will do this one, and I'll probably take this out and make a new tag. They're cutting down Christmas trees, so I could keep that one because that is Barbie, and Barbie is very much a part of my childhood. Western Barbie, actually. We'll save this tag for another page. Okay, so I'm probably gonna do a several page spread because I have several pictures here. I have taken some of the scanned photographs from my mom and dad's albums, and I've digitized all of them over the years, and so when I want to make copies of them, I can just pull them into an editing program and put them on one page and print them out and resize them. So I will show you these first. I hope the lighting is okay. Yeah, that's probably going to be about the best we get. So this is me. I was probably 2.5, 3. And this is a tree at my grandparents' house. My grandparents always had, up until I was probably married, they always had a real tree. And at that point, my grandma just said, we're getting older. It's harder for us to go cut a tree down and water it every day. And they decided to get an artificial tree, and it was still a pretty good sized tree. And then they ended up passing that tree down to my husband and I. We used it for a few years, and they got a tabletop artificial tree. But this will always be the tree that I remember being at their house. My grandpa they don't live on a farm. They live on in a standard neighborhood, and he would just plant trees along the edge of his yard, a new tree every year, and then the last one in line was tall enough to be the Christmas tree, and he would cut that one down. And it was always I believe it was a Virginia spruce, or I think it was a Virginia spruce. So if you've smelled those, you know how amazing they smell. They're not the most beautiful tree. In fact, a lot of times they just look like a big shrub. They're just very round, but that is what I remember most. The lights hang kind of weird on it, but you put some tinsel on that and you put some of those giant C9 bulbs. You see what I'm talking about. I love those. Those will forever be my favorite kind of lights. And it was magical. I mean, absolutely magical to me. As you can see, I got to go in the front formal living room with adults until I was a certain age. And even then, sometimes my grandma would say, we're not going in that room today, or not until the Christmas party starts. Stay out of that room. So it was a big deal when I got to go in there. And because the room had been closed up all morning long, and we went in there at night for the presents, it smelled so strongly of the Christmas tree. It just permeated the whole room. And that is one of my favorite parts of Christmas. And here's another year. I think this might be before I was born. This is another year. The tree was always in front of those double windows, which you saw in my house tour video. We live in that house now, and so as many times as we can, we try to put our tree in front of the same spot. And as you can see, my grandma loved a variety of wrapping paper, and I'm the same way. Lots of colors, lots of patterns. This is a tree that my mom and dad and my sister had in our house when I was in high school. I just noticed that there's some frost on the window, and we had put our handprints on it. Can you see that? That was an unexpected surprise. I had to blow the picture up to see that little detail. But this was a pine tree. My mom and dad like spruce, but they really like the rustic look of pine. So most of the years when we did get a real tree, we would get pine. And I have some of these ornaments on my tree now. My mom passed them down to me. Treasures all of them. This is, so my dad was in the Army for several years, and so we moved around a lot. And so we switched to an artificial tree for quite a number of years. It was just easier than some of the places they send you in the Army. You don't have access to beautiful live Christmas trees. So this was one of the years that we had the artificial tree. We were in Army housing and did the best we could. And I think it's still wonderful. It's funny, I keep seeing these same two ornaments on the front and all of these pictures of my parents' tree. And then here is another picture. This was This was me at my parents' house. We did have a real tree at this point, and this looks like we got the same kind that my grandparents always got, the spruce, and evidently I had to stand on a hassock. I loved this little hassock, and I was standing on it to reach a branch to put an ornament on. So cute. This picture is not supposed to be in here. This is from the gift pile. So the last picture is probably one of my favorite pictures of all the pictures in all of the photo albums. This is my grandpa holding me up to look at the top of the tree. I guess I wanted to see the star. I was probably about 2.5, 3. This looks like the same day the other one was taken. And that looks like a shiny bright right there. Christmas was his favorite holiday, and he made it magical for my mom and her siblings, and he made it magical for us grandkids. So this was just one tangible example of that. And I credit him for my love of Christmas, my love of trees, and my love of anything that lights up. I don't care what it is, or if it's small and it lights up, I think it's amazing. I love little tiny lights, and I love colored lights. So I don't know yet if I'm going to paste all of these onto these pages or if I'm going to tuck some into a pocket, but those are just some of my memories of Christmas trees. I remember learning about the history of Christmas trees and how really the tradition is not that old. It goes back to the time of Victoria, late 1800s, and I thought that was pretty cool. I'm glad it's a tradition that we do. Can you imagine Christmas without trees? It's sort of hard to imagine because we've always sort of taken it for granted that it's always been this way. But these are some printables. This one is from KB and Friends. So I printed a few of these out. This is like a light box, and then this is a Christmas ornament box. I thought maybe I would make not a shaker card, but a sort of variation on that, and I'll show you that in a moment. And then here's a KB and Friends flash card, and I think this is KB and Friends as well, just a little card. I just printed off more than I thought I'd need. So I actually borrowed my husband's because I like the ink in his better for Christmas. My husband's fountain pen. And so I have this ready. It is dark green ink with a gold shimmer overlay. So that'll be fun to write with. I get nervous writing with fountain pens because they're so, I don't know, they're just scary. They're very inky. I'm afraid I'm going to make a mess, but I think I might try to do it. It's kind of hard to use whiteout in a junk journal, so I hope I won't make any spelling mistakes. Okay, so I think the first thing I want to do is I want to start, let's see. I think I'll do this, this, and this. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of this wrapping paper. This is not super vintage. This is probably from the early 2000s. I got it at a yard sale. But I love these foil ornaments. I'm just going to do a little bit of fussy cutting. Decorate this page with a red and a green one. I don't have my normal scissors. I thought for this I would use my grandparents' vintage, still very sharp kitchen scissors. So I love using these. It makes me feel nostalgic for them. I miss them so much, especially at Christmas time. Not only because they made Christmas special and I spent so many Christmases and Christmas Eves at their house, but unfortunately my grandpa passed away on Christmas Eve, about 5 o'clock on Christmas Eve in 2015. He lived a very, very, very long life. So I cannot complain that I did not have enough time with him. I had so much time, and I will be forever grateful for that. He was 97, y'all. 97. And my grandma could not live without him, and she passed away the next summer at the age of 91. So they were quite a few number of years apart. He married her after he came back from World War II, and they were inseparable. So obviously after he passed away, we knew she would not be able to survive very long without him by her side. But the first year after he passed, the year he passed, we had already put our decorations up. And I remember thinking, I will never be able to celebrate Christmas again. I mean, that's literally one of the first thoughts that went through my mind. And then I remembered, that's not why we celebrate Christmas. The reason we celebrate Christmas is because God sent his son to earth to die for our sins so that we could spend eternity in heaven with him, and also with every other loved one who has gone before us, which my grandpa is one of them. And my grandpa also would not want me to sit and sulk and keep my Christmas decorations in the attic after he had passed away. He would look at me and say, okay, I'll give you a year, but after that, I want you to decorate like you've never decorated before. And I kind of have done that. I really have gone above and beyond normalcy the past few years, and trying to incorporate things that remind me of them and things they might have decorated their home with when they were first married in the 50s. So yeah, that's just a little short snippet of why Christmas trees are so important to me, why Christmas is so important to me, so much more important than it used to be. And sometimes it takes something really hard happening to you to make you realize the wonderful things that you do have and to be grateful for. And I know I will see both of them again one day. They are going to be in heaven when the Lord returns or I get carried home, and I am looking forward to seeing their beautiful smiling faces. I feel like in heaven there's going to be some sort of perpetual Christmas celebration, or just at least unending joy, and we will all be together again and no more goodbyes, and it's going to be the most amazing thing ever. And I'm so grateful that I have that hope because of our Savior and his birth, and the fact that he was sent as a ransom for our sins. That is the great hope of Christmas and Easter and every single day of my life. So onward and upward. So what is your favorite aspect of Christmas? Do you love Christmas trees? Do you like Christmas music? Is it the food? Is it the food that just really, really, really makes you excited about this time of year? Is it getting to spend time with family that comes in from out of town that you don't see as often? I would love to know what your favorite aspect of Christmas is. I love, let's see, I'm going to try to collage this to cover up this hard edge that I somehow created. I love, so one of my love languages, if any of you have taken the 5 or 4? 5 love languages test put out by Gary Smalley. My love language number 1 is gifts. But that doesn't mean that I'm materialistic. To me, people show love for me and how well they know me by things that they take notice of and give me. But reciprocating, I feel like most people who have the number 1 love language of gifts love giving gifts to others for the same reason. I get so excited about Christmas because I get to buy presents for my husband, my children, my parents, my sister. I relish getting to look through things and find, where did my glue go that has my, hold on, I gotta find my tacky glue. It was not where it was supposed to be, but I found it. I love, love, love going to stores and even online late at night, cozy in my bed, trying to find things that speak to me and say, Your mom would love this. I love that aha moment when I finally find something that I know that someone I love will love and adore. And I love wrapping them, and I'm getting into the gifts, and I'm not even supposed to talk about that yet. But I love all of the parts of gift giving. Gifts are fun to receive as well, but sometimes I get so excited the night before Christmas and can't sleep because I'm excited about the gifts that I'm going to be giving my husband and our kids the next day. Like, I literally can't sleep. When I was little, I couldn't sleep because I wanted to see what Santa brought. So I feel like I still can't sleep, but for a different reason. But that's just part of the fun of Christmas. Also, if you don't sleep much on Christmas Eve, it just makes the day of Christmas Eve and Christmas pass slower, and it doesn't rush by as fast. That's the way I look at it. I was about to put that upside down, y'all. Okay. So there is Grandma and Grandpa's tree, pre-me. That was probably the year my parents got married. I came along a couple years later. Okay, so there is my Christmas tree page. Now, I don't really like journaling. I'm kind of weird. I don't really like journaling straight onto a page. So I'm going to try to find something. I know what I'm going to do. So this is one of the printables from, oh my goodness, Molly's Mantle. You might have seen me do a little show and tell last week. Molly's Mantle on Etsy. Go check it out. But she has these beautiful images, and I'm going to try to sort of tear off a backdrop that I can glue onto this notebook paper. It's going to be too tall, isn't it? That was really close. Almost had it perfectly. I'm going to glue a little backdrop so I can have a background for a little card of some sort that I can put here and write on. Let's do that. I use glue sticks for most thin papers that I glue down, and then anything like a photo or a cardstock, I'll use tacky glue. And of course, fabric or, this is getting yucky, fabric or anything more substantial or 3D, I'll use Fabri-Tac or Fabrifix. Y'all, what's the difference between Fabri-Tac and Fabrifix? I feel like different stores carry different things, but the glue is exactly the same, unless I am just imagining it. I have a bottle of both, and I cannot figure out the difference. They cost the same. They smell the same, but I just don't know the difference. Okay. Oh. Here we go. We've got this beautiful backdrop now. Thank you, Elizabeth from Molly's Mantle. This is gorgeous. And I need to find something that I can journal on now. Do I ever just want to like grab a Post-it and just go with it? Post-it note, they're easy to grab. I can't do this because there's no room to write. Let's see, I may have to pull a piece of scrapbook. I hear my puppy. We put our dog in my daughter's room so he would have company while I did this video, but I don't think he likes being back there with her. I think he thinks that we put him back here and we have company over or something. He can probably hear me talking. This is a pretty color. Wonder if I can make it not such an awkward shape. Let's see. This is the white core too. So let's see if I can do. Y'all get to watch me in all of my awkwardness. I'm probably going to make some mistakes and do things that I don't like on this video. Do y'all ever do that? Do y'all ever just do something and you're like, nope. This looks like the state of Nevada or something. Isn't it Nevada that's shaped like this? Okay, maybe I'll do that. So let's see. Let me see if I can write. Okay, two things. Number one, does anyone else love to use ellipses, ... I use them all the time. My teachers used to fuss at me because I would use them in essays, but I can't stop. Also, it was Eastern red cedar. I don't know why I said Virginia spruce. Is that even a thing? I don't know why Eastern red cedar would not come to my mind, but that is the kind of tree that my grandpa always planted and used. This glue's gotten clogged again. So if y'all don't live in a place where Eastern red cedars grow, I suggest that you, if you're ever on the east side of the U.S., try to find one and smell it. It is probably the sharpest, strongest Christmas tree smell. This year we have a Leland cypress. I don't know why I have trouble remembering that one too. And it hardly has a smell at all. If we keep our room closed up, or sometimes first thing in the morning we'll walk in and we'll smell it, but it's pretty low odor. And I think the reason is a lot of people like that because that tree, I think I'll put it down here. The Leland cypress, if you have allergies, that is the best tree for you. It has little to no whatever it is that people are bothered by most Christmas trees. And they're beautiful shaped, and they're dark green with a hint of blue, so they're very unique. But if you want that strong Christmas tree smell, you're not going to get it. It's very hard to find tree farms around here now that do Eastern red cedar just because people don't like the shape of them. But I love it. I love the way trees used to look. You see the pictures, y'all have seen them, the pictures from the 1930s where the tree is always real short, real wide, and then sometimes they're even sitting on a table with a tablecloth, and then they'll have like a train around it. I just love that look. I love it. It's just so homespun looking. Okay, so I talked on that page about Grandpa's Eastern red cedars. And so on this page, and honestly, this pen, I'm kind of disappointed. Where'd it go? It didn't really show up very good on the blue, so I need to write something on the white. This is one of the things I thought about tucking in a pocket. This is the ornament. Look at this. I think I got this in the Happy Meal from Cindy. And I think this is pretty old. I think I had it backwards. So yeah, he would just pull this out a little bit and it would create that dazzle. Even if you didn't have a lot of lights on your tree, these reflective things would sort of magnify or multiply how many lights you had. Okay. So here's what I was thinking about an interactive card. Let me get my cutting board. And you're probably thinking, don't you have a cutting board beneath you? Yes, I do. Two things. I don't like to move everything off of it when I need to cut. And number two, I know it's a self-healing cutting mat, but I feel like the less I cut on it, the longer I'll have it. So I almost always grab one of these old kitchen cutting boards. I hope I'm not the only one that does that. My husband laughs at me. He says, you know that's a cutting mat, right? And I said, yeah. And he said, why don't you cut on it? And I'm like, that's the way I am with everything. The less I use it, the longer it'll last. All right, so we cut out the tree. And I thought maybe we would put it on a piece of cardstock. What color should we use? Ooh, the foil might be fun. No, because look at the back. It's brown. Let's see. I got a piece of plain green. Oh, that's not cardstock. I need a piece of plain green cardstock. I know I got one. I say I don't want the brown on the back because I want a journal on the back. That's just plain green paper. No, I know I have some green cardstock. Or glitter, maybe. Do I have some in this box? I'm off camera, y'all, but I've got a box of Christmas leftovers over here. I don't think I have any more in here either. Well, we may have to do white because I really don't want to cut up a new piece. Let me see. That's white, but it's too small. That's white, but it's too small. This is funny. I should have planned for this. I may have to cut a sheet. Oh, hold on, y'all. Where is that thing? Here it is. I think we got it. Look at that. It was like it was meant to be. Okay. I'll move this now. All right. Let's cut this out. So when do y'all put your tree up and when do you take it down? I guess it depends on whether or not it's artificial or real, because you can't have real trees up much past a month or they start getting dangerous. When I was growing up, we always waited until mid-December. I know it's crazy, but my mom liked to leave it up until past New Year's. When I got married and we had kids, my husband's family had always done the day after Thanksgiving. And I was like, that is just crazy. No, we're not doing that. And these scissors are got a little bit dull. Let me switch for this little job. So we finally compromised and said, okay, how about December 1st? Because I still felt like it was December, but it wasn't, like we could still enjoy it for a pretty good time, a long amount of time. So we started doing that, and somehow in the past 5 years, my family has talked me into us going out on Thanksgiving Day and cutting it down. And so that's what we do now. And we usually take it down the day after Christmas or the day after that. But I'm curious to see what all of y'all do. And, okay, here's another question. Lights. How many of y'all actually put candles on your tree? I've always wanted to do that. I know it's silly. It's just the history lover in me. I just think it's cool. I know it's not necessary anymore because of, you know, inventions, but I think it'd be cool. Do y'all do colored? Do y'all do white? Do you do all one color? Do you do the tiny little lights? Do you do the big C9s? Do you do LEDs or incandescent? Honestly, we change every year. We don't do LEDs just because I'm weird. I'm real weird about LEDs. If it's not warm enough, I take them down. So it's real hard to find warm white LEDs, and also they're pricier. I know you have to replace incandescents more, but I just prefer. I had a really hard time when they started phasing out regular incandescent 40, 60, 100 watt light bulbs. I mean, I had a really hard time. And my husband picked on me and joked because he said, you sound like an old lady. And I said, well, maybe I am, but why do they have to change things? Okay, so this may not work. This may completely blow up in my face. But instead of glitter in this card, I thought about putting tinsel. And this is not old tinsel. This is not the real fine, baby fine tinsel that you used to be able to find for your trees. Well, the original tinsel, I don't know if y'all realize, was metal and it had lead in it. Okay, I've never had any of that, thank goodness. The new tinsel they have is all acrylic, but in the past few years, I feel like it's gotten thicker and it doesn't drape as well and it doesn't shimmer as well. So this is one of those newer, not my favorite kinds. So I put it in my box for using in crafting. Okay, so I think what I might do is put the tinsel in here instead of glitter. This is probably gonna make my sewing machine very mad, but we'll see. So I'm gonna go sew this and I'll be right back. Okay, finished product. That's about like I wanted it to look. Honestly, when it's under the plastic, it looks more old-fashioned than when it was in the little, like in my hand. It looks more like the old stuff because it's a little less flowy. I like it. Got a little spot to journal if I decide to later. Okay. So there, you don't have to fill these with just glitter. You can think of other things to fill them with. Let me find some more pictures down in here. So I think I'll do some pasting of some photo. My glue is leaking. Hold on 1 second. I think I'll do some pasting of some of these pictures down, and then. Okay, I get frustrated with my glue container because I feel like it stays clogged. If y'all have tips on this, this is one of those Sugar Belle icing bottles. I would appreciate, because I like the fine tip, but I feel like I'm constantly cleaning it out. Even if I put the little thing back on, the little pin, I feel like it still gets clogged up again. Okay. So there's me with the tree, and another with me in the tree. I was the first grandbaby. And I had, let's see, 5 younger cousins that came after me. Oh, a little sister and then 4 cousins. And we had the best time. We were always getting into mischief. And because I lived so far away from them for much of my childhood, when we were together, we made the most of all of our time. We had so much fun. Okay, so I don't have any more pictures that'll fit, so I don't want to put a tree there. That's the same thing. Let's see, maybe I can put a star and some of these ornaments to decorate. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so where's my green pen again? I don't want it to mark through because I think this ink does, so I'll try to keep it over here on this side. Okay, so I just wrote things I remember about Christmas trees as a child, and I just wrote some of the first few words that came to my mind. Hot C9 colored light bulbs, tinsel, strong scent, salt dough ornaments. Do y'all know what those are? Styrofoam and crocheted ornaments and bells. My grandma used to hang tiny little bells, so whenever anyone like bumped against the tree, it would ring that bell. And if any of y'all have ever seen It's a Wonderful Life, my favorite movie, not just at Christmas time, but all year round, they bump into the tree, or the tree shakes at the end and that little bell rings, and I about lose it every time because that's one of my favorite sounds of Christmas. And it's universal and timeless, and I love it. There's a star. Where did those ornaments go? Oh my goodness, there they are. My daughter drew these or watercolored these for me. She's gotten to where she really enjoys making little drawings for me to cut out and embellish my journals with. And I think it's precious, and they will be even more priceless to me one day. All right, I need to put something here. What else can I write about? I could just leave it blank and let it breathe and come back later. That might be what I do. Because I feel like sometimes you don't think about stuff when you're working on a project, but you're like laying in bed that night or driving down the street the next day and you're like, oh my goodness, I forgot about that part of the story, and you have to go back and add it. Okay, so let's just leave it for now. And what I'll do is I don't want to cover up Grandpa. I will paper clip this here for extra journaling space. And then on this side, let's see. I'm trying to think if I have any funny Christmas memories. I guess, yes. I think this is what I'll write on this page. So let me get a clean sheet to put it down on. I'll tell the story real quick and then I'll write it out. So, looking back at this pine picture, and I probably need to glue this down behind it. I don't think this is the same tree, but it was very much like this tree. One year, it was just not a good year. It was just one of those years where everything went wrong. And we got in my dad's truck. We all four climbed in the truck and we went to go get a tree. And I think something happened with my dad's truck, like it wouldn't start or something. And so that's kind of started us off in a bad mood. But we ended up getting to where we were going to get the tree, and we got the tree and we cut it down and we brought it home. And we put it right here in this corner, or maybe right in front of these French doors. And we were just I think we decided to put it there, eat supper, and then decorate. Well, we were sitting there and it got real quiet and we heard this noise. And it sounded like a very fast tapping noise, or maybe a rustling or a clicking noise, and it just continued to get louder and louder. And we were just kind of all staring at each other while we were eating. And finally, my mom, her eyes just got real big, and she said, oh my goodness, I think that tree has termites. Now, looking back, and we've talked about it since then, I don't think live pine trees get termites. I could be wrong about that. But I think what might have been happening was pine beetles. I think that's what they're called. It's an invasive pest that gets inside of pine trees and eats them, like completely destroys entire forest of pine. And I think the tree farm we went to had pine beetle infested trees. Well, we had already put a few ornaments on it, or maybe not ornaments, but we had already put the lights on it. I have never seen my parents move so fast. They jumped up from the kitchen table and they grabbed that tree, and we ran outside with it, trunk first, as fast as we could. Things were falling off of it. We were all four screaming, because in my mind, I was like, this is it. This is the end of our house. We're going to get termites. We're going to wake up tomorrow like the Pink Panther when he had that termite in his house, and we're just going to be sitting on a big pile of sawdust. Looking back, it's so funny now, but my goodness, I was probably 15. So to me, it was like mortifying. I was like, my friends cannot know about this. This never happened. They're all going to have their magical Christmas tree getting stories, and I cannot let them know this happened. I probably did not share that with my friends, maybe my best friend, but looking back now, it's just funny. And I don't remember the details, like, did we go back and take the tree and get a refund and get another tree at another farm? I don't know. But we didn't go without a Christmas tree, so we obviously did something. So that's my funny Christmas tree story. Let me write that out real quick. Okay. So you can see that ink is, I don't know if you can see it. It has a very light shimmer of gold. I love this ink. I love it when my husband buys that color. I tend to put bright colors in my fountain pen. So when he buys this one and fills it up, I told him he should put it in his pen for Christmas. I like to use it. But yeah, that's perfect. That is a perfect sheet of paper to write that funny memory on. Because that's, I mean, maybe they have a pine tree with beetles in it and they're all happy, and just wait till y'all get home, Barbie and Ken. You're gonna have quite the funny story to tell your kids and grandkids one day. So that's it. That is day 1, week 1 of December Weekly, #December Weekly. I hope you enjoyed watching me. I get kind of intimidated when I feel like people are watching me actually journal. I don't know why. I can let people watch me without a problem making a journal, but there's just something else about, like, I guess this is an entirely different kind of creativity. It's not routine, and there's not really a recipe or pattern for it. It's kind of different every time. So thanks for being patient with me, and I hope all of you have a wonderful day. Please head over to see the other contributors to this collaboration hosted by Jovi, and I will talk to you in the next video. Sewing journals are still in the works. Don't give up on me. It's taken a little bit longer than I would have hoped, but I'm really excited about them, and I can't wait to show them to you, and they will be listed in my shop this week. Till next time, guys. Bye.